In the summer of 2021, a young woman with a radiant smile named Gabby Petito decided to chase a dream many of us have. She quit her job, packed her bags, and embarked on a cross-country adventure. Her companion was her fiancé Brian Laundrie, and their home was a white Ford Transit van they had lovingly converted themselves. They named it the van life. To the outside world, their journey was perfect. Gabby's Instagram feed was a vibrant collage of breathtaking landscapes, sunny smiles, and romantic poses, sunsets over canyons, hikes through majestic mountains, and carefree laughter by the campfire. They were living the dream, or so it seemed. Their posts, filled with hashtags like #vanlife and #travelcouple, painted a picture of pure bliss and freedom. Millions of people watched, inspired by their seemingly idyllic life on the open road. It was a storybook romance set against the stunning backdrop of America's national parks. But what the curated photos and cheerful captions didn't show was the reality of life inside that small white van. Behind the filters, the cramped space was becoming a pressure cooker of tension and conflict. The endless road, which was supposed to bring them closer, was instead driving them apart. The pink dream they were selling online was slowly, invisibly, turning into a nightmare. Little did their followers know, they were witnessing the prologue to a tragedy that would soon grip the entire nation. On August 12th, the carefully constructed facade of their perfect life began to crack. Police in Moab, Utah received a troubling 911 call reporting a domestic dispute between a young couple. When officers arrived, they found Gabby and Brian by the side of the road, next to their white van. The police body cam footage from that day would later go viral, offering a chilling glimpse into the turmoil hidden behind their smiling photos. The video shows Gabby visibly distressed, sobbing uncontrollably. She's apologetic, taking the blame, and trying to downplay the conflict. She tells the officers she has OCD and was feeling anxious, explaining that the small arguments had been building up over their weeks on the road. She appears fragile, overwhelmed, and desperate to keep the peace. In stark contrast, Brian appears eerily calm, even smiling and laughing at times with the officers. He presents himself as the patient, rational partner dealing with a hysterical girlfriend. He tells police that Gabby was the one who got physical, that she was stressed and that he was just trying to keep her calm. This, looking back, was a masterclass in emotional manipulation. A textbook example of gaslighting. He skillfully painted Gabby as the crazy one, successfully convincing the officers that their fight was nothing more than a minor spat caused by her emotional instability. The police ultimately decided to separate them for the night, believing it was just a mental health crisis, not a case of domestic abuse. They arranged a hotel for Brian and left Gabby with the van. It was a critical moment, a cry for help that was tragically misinterpreted. The days following the police encounter are shrouded in mystery, but the silence that came next was deafening. On September 1st, the white van pulled back into the driveway of the Laundrie family home in Northport, Florida. But only one person stepped out. Brian was home, but Gabby was gone. He offered no explanation for her absence. To a family who hadn't heard from her since late August, this was the beginning of a waking nightmare. They frantically tried to contact Brian and his family, desperate for any information about Gabby's whereabouts. Where was she? Was she okay? But their pleas were met with a wall of silence. Instead of helping the desperate family, Brian didn't just stay quiet. He immediately hired a lawyer and refused to speak with the police. For 10 agonizing days, as Gabby's family pleaded for answers, Brian and his parents remained silent. The man who had vowed to spend his life with Gabby was now a person of interest in her disappearance, and his actions were baffling and infuriating. While a nationwide search for Gabby was ramping up, Brian was seen going about his life as if nothing had happened. Most shockingly, he and his parents went on a camping trip to Fort DeSoto Park, just a short drive from their home. The silence wasn't just an absence of words. It was a deliberate, calculated act that allowed precious time to slip away, leaving everyone to wonder what dark secret he was hiding. As the official investigation seemed to stall, an unprecedented force emerged online. Frustrated by the lack of progress and Brian's chilling silence, a global community of internet sleuths took matters into their own hands. TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, and Facebook groups became hubs for armchair detectives who spent countless hours piecing together clues. They analyzed Gabby's social media posts, cross-referenced timelines, and scoured satellite imagery. Every detail was examined, every theory debated. These citizen investigators weren't just sharing opinions, they were doing real detective work. And then came the breakthrough. A family of vloggers, the Bethunes, were reviewing their own travel footage from late August. While editing a video from their trip to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, they spotted something familiar in the background. A small white van parked on a remote dirt road. It was Gabby and Brian's van. They immediately reported their finding to the FBI, providing a crucial piece of the puzzle: a specific location where the van had been on August 27th. This tip redirected the entire search effort. Armed with this new information, law enforcement descended on the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. On September 19th, in that very area, the search came to a devastating end. The FBI found human remains. 2 days later, dental records confirmed the nation's worst fears. It was Gabby Petito. The subsequent autopsy revealed the horrific cause of her death: Manual strangulation. The digital breadcrumbs left by a travel vlogger had led authorities to a crime scene, finally answering the question of where Gabby was, but opening up the even more terrifying question of what had happened to her. With Gabby's body found, the case turned into a homicide investigation, and Brian Laundrie was the only person of interest. But just as the net was closing in, he vanished. He had told his parents he was going for a hike in the vast and treacherous Carlton Reserve in Florida, and he never returned. This sparked a massive manhunt that lasted for over a month. The search was grueling, through miles of swampland teeming with alligators and snakes. Finally, on October 20th, Brian's remains were discovered in an area that had previously been underwater. Alongside his body, investigators found a backpack, a revolver, and a small water-damaged notebook. This notebook contained Brian's final confession. In its pages, he admitted to killing Gabby. He claimed it was a merciful act after she had supposedly fallen into a creek and injured herself. He wrote that he ended her life to take away her pain, a story that investigators and Gabby's family found completely self-serving and unbelievable. He portrayed himself as a tragic hero in his own twisted narrative, a final, desperate attempt to control the story. The truth, stripped of all filters and romantic captions, was brutally simple. The beautiful adventure had ended in a lonely, violent death. The tragic journey of Gabby Petito serves as a powerful and heartbreaking reminder. The truth isn't always found in pretty pictures or cheerful hashtags. Sometimes, behind the most carefully crafted online personas, a silent, hidden tragedy is unfolding. Thank you for watching. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. Resources are available in the description below.